16th, it was Julian.
That too.
All right,
Was his as well?
we'll call the
Threw
work
holy
session
water on
to
mine.
order for July 14th.
I haven't seen it yet.
The Site Plan Review Technical Advisory Committee. We have 2 items of business. First is 221 Woodbury Avenue for a subdivision. Come on up, Martin.
Good afternoon. I'm Martin Rhind with 221 Woodbury Avenue. Before you today because I'm pursuing a subdivision of the property. 221 is a large corner lot of about 17,351 square feet at the corner of Woodbury and Thornton Avenue. Right now, there's an existing 2-family structure there that my wife and I occupy. Additionally, there's a sort of a garden shed / garage to the back, as you can see. We intend to build, with the new lot, we intend to build a new single-family home. We would revert the existing home to a single-family dwelling. The new lot would be an L-shaped lot to allow driveway to come off of Thornton Street and serve the new property. This subdivision was proposed, I needed to get a variance for frontage and presented this to the BOA. They approved the variance unanimously. And so this is my next step here to meet with you all. I could go down each of the issues. Parking, as you can see, we cover our parking with 2 parking garages and spaces in front of those garages. We exceed the 1.3 cars per dwelling unit. Vehicular and pedestrian traffic. The driveways, as you can see, both come off of Thornton Street. We've designed them so that you would have a backup area to prevent, I should say, vehicles from backing into Thornton Street. We have that long new proposed driveway. We would have a new curb cut just off of that utility pole that would run along the property line to the back. 10-foot wide driveway, considering a asphalt paved driveway. Pedestrian movement, we had those beautiful new sidewalks, so not a concern. Screening and landscaping, you can see there's a good bit of existing. We're going to add to it. We're also going to propose fencing to separate the properties. There's already fencing to the back of the site, but we intend to have a sort of a rigorous screening between properties. Water and sewage. Our water and sewage for the existing house comes off Thornton Avenue. We're looking at new water and sewage for the new home that would come off of Woodbury Avenue. I don't have a lot of information about what's there. I just know that my neighbor at 251 gets ties into their sewer line right off the end of their driveway there.
Peter, Shanti asked me to ask you if there's a way for him to join remotely. Excuse me, some of them is not
Oh,
here.
go for it. All right. Yeah, I can.
Martin, it's gonna be very expensive to go out on Woodbury Avenue. I would highly recommend that you come off Thornton Street with your utilities.
With the
It's gonna be
water
a
and
lot-
sewer.
Lot cheaper.
I'll look at that.
Okay.
So I would need to use I couldn't cut across the
You put
existing
it
property.
under your driveway.
Under the driveway, okay. I need to have it within the property line.
Yes.
Okay.
So noted.
Should I keep going?
Yep, I'm just gonna call Shanti. Storm water management, we don't expect any major
measures to deal with it. I will engage a civil engineer to look at the site and assist us with those design features. Site lighting, just typical wall-mounted lights, nothing on a pole, nothing, all sky sensitive lighting. Trash collection, we're proposing trash collection on the Thornton Street side at the end of both driveways. Site utilities, currently for the existing house, we draw our power off the pole, and then on the, I believe it's the northeast pole on the northeast corner of the lot.
That's annoying.
Hey Shanti?
Hey there, can you hear me?
Yep, can you see the screen?
I can. Yes, I can, thank you. Yeah, perfect.
Okay.
Go ahead, Mark.
Okay, so our electricity comes off of the pole, as you can see at the top of the page, right next to, yes, sir, right there. It comes in overhead to the garage structure. I'm showing a pole, going to a pole and then dropping down and going underground. I don't know that I can, my preference is to put both of those services for both houses off of that pole and underground all the way, both ways. I'd have to explore that a little further. Snow removal, as you can see, there's, well, I think on the next page, there's shows the locations for a collection of snow. So that is factored in the driveway configurations. I think I've covered all of the issues for the site, and be happy to field any questions.
All right, open up for questions or comments?
I just had a question about the front setback. It looks like you did setback averaging to get your
Yes.
setback. Can you just show that math on your application?
Absolutely. I took the average of the existing house and then 251 and, yeah.
Within 200 feet, right? Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, that's fine. We just want to see it for the record.
Sure thing.
And then on the utility connection with the electric, we looked at the street view and it looks like there's a guy wire coming where your driveway is going to be. So you'll have to look into that, if you can move that or how the utility will treat that. But just something we picked up when we were looking at it.
I agree. Now, there was some discussion about having a shared curb cut. I don't know if any comment on that would be.
I'd be curious to hear what DPW has to say about it.
I think a shared driveway would be simpler and easier. I mean, your driveway there is really tight. It's just 10 feet. Do you have any radius at the corners? I mean, ideally, you'd like to have at least a 3-foot radius on the corners.
Okay.
But just, and then you can have that little piece of sidewalk in between the way it's shown now.
The guy wire can't really move, that's just geometry. So without moving a bunch of telephone poles, it's not gonna go anywhere.
I can't put it on the other side.
Unless you can do vector addition better than I can.
Well, so maybe the shared driveway is the right direction.
And I'm looking too at for the existing house, those cars shown in the picture right there, it looks difficult to get into that position. I don't know if you check turning movements, radius coming in there to get to that position.
You just got a fishtail, right?
Yeah, slide in, yeah.
Pull the emergency brake, right?
Yeah, they should probably angle it the other way. Yeah.
Like I say, you want to be able to pull out and not have to back out onto Thornton Street.
Agreed. Would that put us into a sort of a right-of-way agreement between the two parcels?
I would do
You'll own both of them, so you could do an easement over it, so you could just access it
I would do a
across that easement.
driveway and utility easement, put your utilities underneath that, and you wouldn't even need to have a dog-leg lot. You could have 2 rectangular lots.
Well, at some point in time, I do intend to sell off the
It's
existing.
fine, just write an easement before you do it.
Well, it's in under,
Yeah.
Rate to use and maintain it.
Okay. I think that would be, well, that drop you under the lot area per dwelling.
I don't think so, cause this lot has 95.
Yeah, so as long as you don't go under 7,500, you
right.
could make it work and be less non-conform, well, be fine with the, right, they wouldn't have to go back to BOA. Yep, you could do that. And then on the drainage, it looks like the water all flows to the back corner. Do you guys wanna see a plan on that or anything?
It's a residential house. I don't even know why he's here.
Hmm?
This is a house lot.
It's a subdivision, that's why,
One house subdivision goes to TAC.
any
Yeah,
subdivision,
creation of a new lot.
creation of a new lot. But if there's a drainage issue, you know, in that area,
There's a drainage issue right now.
well, there's gonna be a new house, a new
Yep.
water coming off. It looks like it flows to the back, I don't see any other houses nearby, so.
Yep.
If you guys are okay with it, I'd, you know, probably good.
Do you have a plan on where the foundation drain is gonna discharge to?
No, not at this time. Hadn't thought about it at this time.
Did you get a drainage connection when they put Woodbury, Thornton Street back together?
On the existing house, no.
He didn't give you one?
It's on top of the hill.
We'll take a look at that and give you some direction.
There's a catch basin directly in front of the.
That's
proposed lawn.
combined into the sewer. You don't wanna go
Okay,
there.
don't connect to that then,
No,
yeah.
we wanna go on Thornton. It's all separated.
Looks like there's some utility poles across the street on Woodbury,
That you don't want any part of.
then don't touch them, alright.
Is it simply the, having to shut down
Sorry.
Woodbury partially is that the main concern, cost?
Yeah, it's gonna be an extra $10,000 to go across the street when you've got power on your side of the road. Be equivalent to shooting yourself in the foot.
Gotcha. Don't wanna do that.
And he. What's that?
Might be
It's
sewer,
the sewer.
Oh.
What is that?
I don't know.
I'm gonna look at the as-built to give you some direction, okay?
Thank you. Fire hydrant is adjacent to bottom of the page across the street. So it's available.
All right, any other comments? Do you have any other questions for us?
I think I'm good. I just, can I reach out for
Yeah, yeah.
clarity on some
Yeah,
things?
absolutely.
Okay, perfect. I'll do that.
All right.
Thank you. Now, just one, I do have one question. The next step being full TAC. Will you need anything beyond this except some of these issues resolved?
I think if you just
Yeah.
show them on the plan,
Yeah.
show the stuff we're talking about on the plan, get the direction you need,
Then we should.
and then it'll be probably as quick as this.
Okay. Thank you.
Yep, thanks.
Thanks.
All right, next up, we have 0 Lafayette Road for site plan review.
All right, good afternoon, everybody. Eric Poulin, Jones Beach Engineers. Looking at, this is 0 Lafayette Road is what was on the GIS. It's actually off of Ledgewood Drive by the cul-de-sac pole there behind the high school. This is tax map 229 lot 6A. It's just shy of an acre. Right now, it's undeveloped, wooded. And what we're looking to do is propose a 15-unit apartment building on the property. We have the site surveyed. We've done test pits. We've got wetland delineation. There's one wetland pocket there on the bottom right corner. And the design would have first floor under building parking, and then the livable units would be on floors 2 and 3. With this configuration, we're able to shrink the footprint quite substantially with that under building parking. So we just need a small accessory parking lot to the rear to get the parking numbers we're looking for. So right now we're showing the building kind of fronted on the frontage there of Ledgewood Drive. A small accessory parking lot to the rear, which will be useful for fire truck turning, dumpster truck turning. We got our 2 dumpsters there. And then our plan for stormwater. Right now it's pretty straightforward. We think we're gonna use that upper right corner and then discharge to the wetland pocket there to the bottom right. Design and plans are still quite preliminary. We wanted to get in front of this group to field initial comments, questions, concerns, things we could use to integrate into our designs. We can get ahead of some of those issues before we even design it. We have a gas line in the road. I know there's water. We have an existing hydrant there by the proposed driveway. There is a sewer line through there. It's my understanding that's the high school sewer line. So I think with this site, you know, the questions we have, and I know this group's looked at this property in the past for some other people, the coordination questions we need to kind of tackle, I think, are, you know, how sewer gets connected, the water connection. Does not appear to have power brought down Ledgewood Drive, so if we need to bring power down from Lafayette Road. This property is being sold by the Greek Orthodox Church. There are abutters to the north, so potentially we might be able to execute agreements to pull through there if needed, but that's kind of up in the air at the moment. That's our plan right now. So just any comments, questions, concerns that the group has, so we can integrate those into our design. Thank you.
All right, open up for comment.
If this is built, it will need to be a Ledgewood Drive address. There'll have to be an address change somehow.
Yeah, that's how it popped up on the
No, I
yeah,
know.
the filing.
I'm just
You're right.
calling it out.
Yep.
It will be required.
Yep.
And we talk about fire department truck access. Look at that.
Yeah, if we could do a turning template to make sure we execute that turn correctly.
So the parking calculation is it changed, so it's only 1 per unit instead of 1.3.
Yeah, the state law that came down
Yeah.
for units. Yep. Yeah, so right now we're following the old city code. I think we're proposing the target number that personally we feel like we're looking for the unit count. So that's more driven by you know, the amenities we're looking for the units to have is why we're proposing that number. But yeah, you're absolutely right. That's dropped to 1 per unit for the minimum.
Just as an FYI, the fire code changes in a month and the garage will require 25% more water. It's not a big difference, but it's just a
Okay.
consideration since we're talking about underground. The 6-inch line probably will work, but you have to do all the calculations and everything, so.
Okay.
I think our water main ends at that.
It does, yep, they're well aware that this is not a city street.
Yep, not
Get
city.
permission from the city council before we can even look at it.
Put the water main down.
So It's not a city street.
The front of the building has a hatch pattern in the back too, what are the?
Yeah, we're kind of overlaying the rough layout for what that garage floor is gonna look like. We have some preliminary floor layout plans as well. So we're kind of fine tuning that, but the intent there is for the tenants to have some storage space on that first floor to go along with their units as well as the parking. So that's what that hatching is on that first floor.
So the gateway envisions windows being on that side of the building. And it says you have to have facade modulation every 50 feet.
Yep.
So take a look at that standard and see how you can address that.
That rear yard setback, that's for parking too, or is it just?
Just for structures.
Truss structures.
Alright, so the one thing that kind of, besides the obvious that this is not a city street thing, the other thing is that the turning radii to get into that garage is a little too tight. I think you're being a little too rigid the way you're looking at the site. I would twist that building some and twist the whole thing so that it's easier to get in and out of that parking garage for everybody. I think if you put a 20-degree spin on that building, it would kick some of that parking into that rear yard setback, but nobody's gonna really,
Ease the angle on that turn.
it's gonna be a lot better building.
And you can even reduce the size of that rear parking lot. That'd be nice, cause then you'd save some of the trees. I know you want to overpark it a little bit.
Yeah, we can look at that and
It'd be nice to reduce that a little bit.
yeah, and see if there's some wiggle room there.
High school kids gonna park.
Well, it's not, you can charge them for parking. You can charge the Greek church.
I know with the dead end aisles on the parking in the garage and upside, you're gonna have reserved spots. You'll wanna have those assigned to each unit so they know if there's a spot open.
Yeah, I think we would do.
Yeah, we got that and how.
Yeah,
In the park.
That way, you don't travel down the end and find that it's full and have to back out or something.
Yeah, we'll look into that. There's probably gonna need to be some form of assignment because there's a big value gap between under the building parking and then the parking spots out back.
Of course. And you're gonna have to provide handicap parking
Yep, absolutely.
inside. And I imagine there's gonna be an elevator inside.
Yes. Yep.
Right?
Yep.
So, we're gonna need to hear from the gas company that the gas line has adequate capacity for your use. There is a transformer right down the street in front of the Tour Golf Course. Probably Eversource is gonna make you extend underground power from there. See that there's a transformer right there?
Where's that transformer again? Sorry.
It's over by Tor. There's a transformer out there. I think, it used to be, unless they moved it.
Yeah, I think it's on that plan right there.
It's in the back.
Isn't that it?
It might be. But that whole area is underground power, so you're gonna have to find where the underground power ends right now and then extend it.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah, it's right back corner of Tor.
Okay.
And I'm not sure offhand with the Tor plans if that transformer moves or not. You'll have to look at those plans, which are all approved, and see what's going on with that building under the new approved plan. And then what Zach was getting at is our water main ends up the street because that's not our city street. So if it gets converted to right of way,
I think it is.
to make this legal, then you will probably, almost certainly, you'll need to extend that water main as an 8-inch line so that it's big enough to extend water down to your site.
Where does the 8-inch line end right now?
At the hydrant.
Okay, so that hydrant is the
At
end,
least that's where the city main ends.
Right.
Yeah. and that's an 8, so it's an 8-inch line to that hydrant. Okay.
Could we potentially tap off that location?
No. Oh, we're gonna need that extended then reduce down. Then after your service, it'll become their service again. So you're gonna intercept their service, turn it into a city main, and then give them back their service after your service. That's the way that has to be.
Okay.
And then assuming that it turns in the right of way, we'll have access to sewer that way. But that really is the first step. We can't really give you permission to do anything until that happens. So that needs to happen first, and then you come back here, and then we'll do the engineering type stuff.
Ledgewood Drive being
Yeah.
a city street.
Needs to be converted to right of way.
Which right now it's currently not.
Correct.
How does that process take place? And
Yeah, I was just about to say that. How's that procedure look from a city standpoint?
We might wanna start with talking with the city attorney, cause there's definitely some questions about whether it is or not a city street, so let's confirm that it needs that, but if it needs to be authorized by the council, then you have to go to the city council with a request. So follow up with me
Be a
or
public
Peter.
hearing at the city council level. There'll be a couple of months where there's stuff going on.
is there potential to get easements to do any of this as well, or does it need to be, the street need to be converted?
What's the question?
Is there potential to do easements to make connections happen?
I think it would have to be a street to do
Has
it.
to be a street.
In your packet, I know this is preliminary, but we'll wanna see elevations.
Yep. Yep.
And a landscape plan, obviously, and
And grades,
grades and drainage.
utilities.
Oh, yeah, yep, yep. When we get
I
the,
understand this is preliminary.
yep, we'll get a full design package.
Really, the first step is going through the city attorney and the city council and getting that done, because I can't really give you permission to do anything until, you shouldn't really even be here yet, until that happens.
So as right now, basically it's a lot without, does this lot currently not have valid frontage?
Correct.
Okay.
I mean, looking at it, it seems like a plausible use for the land. It's just, you gotta go through some hoops to get there.
Yeah.
There's a reason why nobody built there.
And the zoning just changed to gateway too, so.
Say again?
The zoning changed to gateway recently, so.
Yeah, yeah.
Makes it more, more feasible project to do, the type of work you gotta do to extend utilities and that kind of thing.
When you bring the water line in, you'll need to get a hydrant within 100 feet of the fire department connection wherever it's gonna be. So just FYI, you'll need a hydrant somewhere
And it, okay, and it,
on that corner closest to the driveway, the garage more than likely.
So there's a hydrant right there.
No,
Are you saying you wanna, when they extend the water main, are you saying that hydrant should be moved down?
No, they can leave that there, but do we need another one within 100 feet of wherever the fire department connection on the building's gonna be? Since it's new now.
So you want two hydrants 50 feet apart?
I want compliance with the fire code.
I understand that, but we should give them some direction.
I just did.
Is it okay to move the hydrant down the road 50 feet?
Oh, you mean get it, just
Yeah.
move,
Because they're gonna have to rip that hydrant off to extend the water main. So,
that's a better idea, and that's why you're here.
no. I'm here to torture you.
Okay, perfect.
so we could
I
reset
could live with
that
that, yeah.
farther down the farther down the road.
And we'll look at the hydrant and see whether we want it reset or if you're gonna need to provide a new one.
Yeah, depending on the condition of it.
We'll have time to research that before you come back. I would imagine communications are gonna be in the same spot as that Eversource connection point, but you need to confirm that, so you have access to comms. I don't know where those are either.
Yep.
Where you're gonna run conduit to. This is all underground, so it's a conduit thing, not a pole thing.
And there might need to be a sidewalk connection to the path. There's a public realm path that's going from the building across the street down to the end of the cul-de-sac and then over to the high school property. And we'd want you to connect to that at least. I don't know if you guys, if there's other sidewalk areas beyond that.
This might be, I think would go
Yeah.
through this.
So bring a sidewalk forward.
You have to look at that. When you look at that plan,
You gotta say where.
you'll see where it
Look
is.
at that plan for Tor, so you can see everything else that's going on around you.
Where the transformer is
Understand it,
Yep.
and then
and where the public realm path is. Yep.
Okay.
And what they did for utilities too, I guess.
So is the state of Ledgewood Drive now that is it a private street?
I think we gotta follow up on that.
Okay.
There's some question.
Deputy City Attorney's done some research. so-
Yeah, the deputy city attorney has some information on it.
Okay,
You should be able to make something work.
okay. So just going
I
through the
think
right steps.
originally it
but-
was intended to be the driveway to the high school, and it didn't end up getting built that way.
Yeah,
That's why it goes all the way out to Lafayette Road. They ended up building the high school driveway in a different spot. But I think that was the original frontage for that high school lot.
Yeah.
And it just never got converted.
Yeah, cause that lot was bought later, that driveway.
One of those weird Portsmouth things that's been like that. 70 years and nobody ever tried to build on that lot, so it never came up.
okay. All right, so, I mean, a path forward, but we've gotta go through the proper channels of, working with the city on
Yeah,
getting
yeah, you
that.
can send me or Peter an email, like I said, and
Yeah,
we'll set up a meeting or whatever we need to do.
Yeah, we'll reach out to you.
Yep.
Okay. All right. From a site layout standpoint, anything else as of right now you guys can think of that we should keep in mind going forward?
Where you're gonna put your bike racks, I guess. Have you considered doing workforce housing in this building? Nice location for it.
Right now, that's not the layout we're proposing, but,
No, I know.
we could take a peek at it and.
Yeah.
'Cause I know there's some density bonuses to doing that, correct?
Yes.
Yep.
Unit count.
You could, yep, you can increase your density.
Yep.
Yep. And it looks like you have the parking, especially with this design.
Yeah.
And some pretty big units that could be converted to smaller ones, potentially.
Is minimum, parking payment setback to property lines? Is there,
No, there are no setbacks for parking.
okay, so we can get tied to
It
those
just can't be
property
in front of
lines.
the building, yeah.
Right, but it all has to be to the rear.
It can't be in front,
Side.
right? It can be
Right.
the
It can be on the
side.
Side
side.
or rear?
Can't be any closer than the building to the street.
Okay,
If there was a street. Which there isn't.
So the edge of your property, that's near
To
the,
the front.
that's where you're gonna drive it.
okay. That's everything I
Okay,
have.
all set, all
It's
right.
good to have a challenging one every once in a while, it keeps you sharp.
Well, we got a little bit of work to do, but I think we're gonna get there.
Looks like it's gonna be a good project at some point.
Yeah.
Just gotta get there.
Thank you, everyone.
Alright, thank you.
Good day.
Alright, that's it for us. We'll adjourn. Thank you. Thanks, Shanti.